What we were trying to do is to try to have the audience sort of understand really what do they mean by sustainable packaging, trying to understand that there are many different aspects of it. Anything from the packaging being recyclable, the packaging being bio-based, the packaging being compostable, the packaging being made out of recycled materials or forest certified materials. And so that it's just not one thing that makes a packaging sustainable. Making a package sustainable also is things that make the food last longer or have better shelf life, or let that steak last longer in your shelf. All that is related to sustainable packaging. What's really keeping us up at night is some major changes that are going on in the economy in the United States and around the world related to some of the economics related to things like recycling. Right now, the recycling is in trouble very badly in the United States because the commodity prices, because believe it or not, all those waste that we collect, all these packaging that the people collect, is one of the largest exports out of this country. And with oil prices going down and with commodity prices, aluminum prices and steel prices all going low, the economics of recycling has changed dramatically. And because of that, the customer or the people you're selling this package to, they want to do something to the environment. And as you know, the only really thing that a consumer could do besides buy a product with recycled content is really recycle it themselves. It is the most actionable item that the consumers think they're doing for the environment. If you ask the consumer, well, what do I do for the environment today? And they'll say, I recycled my bottle, or I recycled my paper. So one, we want to encourage that, but get them to understand how that is working. And then also to have the people in this room who are making these packaging understand what is important on environmental areas. It's these companies who use the packaging. They design it, they spec it. So they control it. Now, it's definitely the consumer who buys it, right, and who encourages the correct packaging. So it's important that these folks create a market for the packaging by using recycled materials, that these guys use or try to do the innovative areas. But they also have to stop fighting. A lot of the industry is fighting some of what's the major issue around the world, which is extended producer responsibility, where it is the brand owner who pays the cost of disposing their materials. And once that happens, they will design their packaging to improve the environment, because the better it is for the environment, the less they will pay. The carbon footprint of packaging is large. It is a major portion of this. We also have a major price crisis here, and most of our packaging is still being landfilled. And and landfill space is going away. Also, we want to stop food waste. Food waste is a huge process. All these things are interrelated, and it's an issue that needs to be addressed. We've been moving to a lot of new, we consider sustainable materials, but they have issues too. Some of the new pouches have problems with, they're not very recyclable. They end up as litter around the world, and they end up as ocean debris. And that is now becoming a huge issue also that have to be addressed. So all of these things go hand in hand. We just had a presentation on single-serve packaging. Single-serve packaging is great, but it is the biggest contributor to marine debris, litter, because a lot of it is now eaten away from the home. And therefore, looking at how the sustainability of it relates to where it's consumed, what's going on to it, also changes the whole equation. The consumer, as one of the things I put on thing, what they like to see, they want to see that they can recycle that product. They get upset when they get something that they can't put it in their box. They say, why can't I put this in my box? I want to recycle it. Then they also get very upset when they get that big box in the mail and it's got 3/4 of the space is empty space. They get upset with that. There's no reason for that. They also get upset when they get all these peanuts in their package and they don't know what to do with it. And then they also get upset and they want both the government to work with you and get the material to be collected, so they collect it. They want the packaging to be more recyclable, and they want the food to last longer so there's less waste.
So tell us about why is this summit important? Why is it critical?
Well, this is a unique group of people because these folks are making sustainable products. This is sustainable food. They're looking at, non-GMO. They're looking at organically grown. They're looking at the consumer, and the consumers that are buying this are also the consumers that really want to make sure they're recycling the materials. So these people are also the incubators. So as these things become successful for these clients, they go forward. One of my clients we do a lot of work with is, which is not food, which is Estee Lauder, also has their Aveda brand. And they use that as the incubator to use for all of their other brands when they start using bio-based materials. So a lot of these people can experiment, and also because some of the sustainable food products or organic food products can drive a higher cost margin, there is a more opportunity for them to push the envelope on new materials and new ideals that could become the mainstream of the future.
And what presentations, what did you take away from this summit?
There were some very interesting presentations, especially today, with some of the connections that these companies are making between their products and kids, and how they can use those areas were just fabulous.